I give you honor, I give you praise, I give you everything that you deserve. I give you honor, I give you praise, I give you everything that you deserve. I give you everything, I give you everything, I give you everything, I give you everything, everything. I give you me with all my heart and soul, with all my strength and with all my mind. Give us day by day my daily bread. I will obey because your word is true. Oh, Holy, Holy Spirit, Spirit, I call you, fill me up inside, come and take over me, yeah. Open up my eyes to see, for yours be the glory, oh yeah, what a wonderful story, oh yeah, you're so glorious, you're merciful, you're marvelous. That's why I give you honor, give you honor. I give you praise, give you praise. I give you everything that you deserve, you deserve. I give you honor, give you honor. I give you praise, give you praise. I give you everything that you deserve, you deserve. I give you everything, everything, everything. 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 I give you honor, I give you praise, I give you every single thing that you deserve. I give you honor, I give you praise, I give you every single thing that you deserve. I give you honor, I give you praise, I give you every single thing that you deserve. I give you honor, I give you praise, I give you every single thing that you deserve. Deserve you honor, I give you praise, I give you every single thing that you deserve. I give you honor, I give you praise, I give you every single thing that you deserve. Back again. Chapter 8. Chapter 8 in the book of Raphael. The keys and wisdom of numbers. Where did we leave off? At 5. 5 is the endowment of life. It is the soul born within mankind. It is the very breath of Elohim, the Creator. It is the very earth we walk upon, the dust, the clay, and the foundation of the soul. 5 is the creation, all that is, was, and shall ever be. And we remember one of the other previous lessons in reference to the divine male, the divine female, individually, and then together, the 2 equal 4, and the creation itself is 5. 5 is the endowment of life. And this time I'm going to read 6 together, and then I'm going to go into the precepts from the Urantia, because as we move down the list, for instance, if you put, remember which one, if you put perfection in, it comes up 300 times headed to, so it gets more in depth. 6 is the unity of Elohim, and it is perfection of the earth, the sealing of the heavens and the earth, the sealing of the heavens and the earth, heavenly Zion coming down to earthly Zion. 6 is the unity of Elohim. It is the perfection of the earth, the sealing of the heavens and the earth, the bridge connecting these 2 creations. And it is the root of the tree. It is the tree itself growing into the heavens, Jacob's ladder. It is all north, south, east, west, up and down, because it's everywhere in the cosmos. It is all, and it is one. And I was going to read something from the Mentina archives, but I had to rearrange what I was doing. I was jumping back between maybe too many books for one. So depending on what the Father tells me, I'll redo this whole thing using the Mentina archives and who will be written in the Book of Life and who is in my church. I'll do this lesson again using those 3 books, maybe seal portion 2. Because basically, all this higher knowledge, all this knowledge in every one of our records, I can use 40 books and show the same thing. The Urantia is, it lets you know about the cosmos. What's coming, what is, what they're going to put their hand up to fight against this creator of all. All right, we're going to go into Urantia, paper 47, the 7 mansion worlds. 47 should be, let's see, part 2. Yep. Part 2, the local universe. 47, the 7 mansion worlds. And I'm just going to read all of paper 47 and 48.
Hold on, excuse me for a second. The seven mansion worlds, the Creator's Son, Michael, Yeshua Christ, when on earth spoke of many mansions in the Father's universe. His kingdom is the universe. His kingdom is the cosmos. In a certain sense, all 56 of the encircling worlds of Jerusalem, heavenly Jerusalem, are devoted to the transitional culture of ascending mortals. But the seven satellites of world number one are more specifically known as the mansion worlds. Transition world number one. Let me fix this here. Transition world number one itself is quite exclusively devoted to ascendant activities, being the headquarters of the finaliter cores assigned to Centania. This world now serves as headquarters for more than 100,000 companies of finaliters. And there are 1,000 glorified beings in each of these groups. When the system is settled in light and life, and as the mansion worlds, one by one, increase to serve as mortal training stations, they are taken over by the increasing finaliter population. As things get settled in light and life, where we are, we're jumping to another level and expanding in the cosmos. I mentioned that before in reference to Michael having one wife now. And when Earth is taken down, he has 144,000 wives. Emmanuel Christ goes from 144 to 1,044. 1,444. Let me go back over this. When a system is settled in light and life, and as the mansion worlds, one by one, cease to serve as mortal training stations, they are taken over by the increasing finaliter population, which we are. We're the last of the finaliter population, which accumulates in these older and more highly perfected systems. The seven mansion worlds are in charge of the Morantia supervisors and the Melchizedeks. The Morantia supervisors, when you go from your flesh and you're resurrected, you have Morantia material. You don't have your spiritual body yet. You're in between. Let me read that again. The 7 mansion worlds are in charge of the Morantia supervisors and the Melchizedeks. There is an acting governor on each world who is directly responsible for the Jerusalem, heavenly Jerusalem, rulers. Now, Uversa is the capital of this super universe. The Uversa conciliators maintain headquarters on each of the mansion worlds, while adjoining is the local rendezvous of the technical advisors. The revision directors and celestial artisans maintain group headquarters on each of the worlds. The Sporanga function from Mansion World 1 the Sporanga function from Mansion World number 2 onward, while all 7, in common with the other transitional culture planets and the headquarter world, are abundantly provided with Sporanga of standard creation. And Sporanga is another being of the Father's creation. 1. The Finalitors world. Although all Finalitors and certain groups of salvaged children and their caretakers are resident. All right, I'll explain it in a minute. On transitional world number 1, provision is made for the entertainment of all classes of spirit beings, transition mortals, and student visitors. Let me stop there. When it talks about salvaged children, children that died in the flesh early, that's where they go back to. Their spirits are raised up. And when you get to the kingdom, just say by the Ish, Margaret Sanger, when you get to the kingdom, if you had it 50 years ago, that child will be 50. And you're going to greet them at they're going to greet you at the resurrection, along with your other ancestors. The Sporangia, who function on all of these worlds, are hospitable hosts to all beings who can recognize them. They have a vague feeling concerning the Finalitors, but cannot visualize them. They must regard them much as you do angels in your present physical state. As you ascend in these mansion worlds, your fleshly eyes are able to recognize certain spiritual beings. As you ascend in the mansion worlds, you can visualize, just say, I'm just going to use this as an example. If you go to world number 2, you can visualize beings from world number 3. But you can always visualize beings that haven't ascended to level 2. And as you move up, you can see the spiritual beings a level above you, but you can always see the spiritual beings that are below you in ascension. Though the Finality world is a sphere of exquisite physical beauty and extraordinary Morantia embellishment, the Great Spirit abode located at the center of activities The temple of the finalators is not visible to the unaided material or early Marantra vision, but the energy transformers are able to visualize many of these realities to ascending mortals. And from time to time, they do thus function as on occasion of a class assemblers on the mansion world, students on their cultural sphere, on this cultural sphere. Although the mansion world experience, although all through the mansion world experience, you are in a way spiritually aware of the presence of your glorified brethren of paradise, attainment, but but it is very refreshing now and then actually to perceive them as they function in their headquarters abode. They will not spontaneously visualize finalators until they acquire true spirit vision. On the first mansion world, all survivors must pass the requirements of the parental commission from their native planets. Let me stop there. The Father's kingdom is ever expanding. People are dying all over the cosmos. Beings are dying all over the cosmos. And a resurrection chamber, I can't remember the number, just say each resurrection chamber, I don't know, holds 10 million. Because remember, there's 7 trillion occupied worlds. It might hold 100 million. I can't remember the number. But these beings, these children of the Father are dying and they're getting resurrected. And we're all resurrected. These resurrections keep going on. They don't end. He's birthing children. They're dying. They're passing through their probation and they're ascending. On the first mansion world, all survivors must pass the requirements of the parental commission from their native planets. The present Earth Commission consists of 12 parental couples, recently arrived, who have had mortal experience in rearing 3 or more children to the pubescent age. Service on this commission is rotational and is for only 10 years as a rule. All who fail to satisfy these commissioners, everybody has to experience raising children. And if you didn't gain it here and you become celestial, you're going to gain it there. Further qualified, let's see where we are. All who fail to satisfy these commissioners as to their parental experience must further qualify by service in the homes of the maternal sons on Jerusalem, or in part in the probationary nursery on the finalitors world. But irrespective of parental experience, mansion world parents who have growing children in the probation nursery are given every opportunity to collaborate with the Marantra custodians of such children regarding their instruction and training. These parents, see how good the Father is? These parents are permitted to journey there for visits as often as 4 times a year as you're going through your continuing ascension process in these mansion worlds.
shadows creep, and I know when the world feels cold and long, you carry me, Lord, and make my spirit strong. Take my hand, Lord, don't let go. Lift me up when the storm winds blow. I'm down on my knees, Lord. Hear my cry. Carry me through, Lord. Don't pass me by. Take my hand and lead me home. Oh, Lord, darkness fade through.
And it is one of the most touchingly beautiful scenes of all, the ascending career to observe the mansion world parents embrace their material offspring on the occasion of their periodic pilgrimage to the finality world. While one or both parents may leave a mansion world ahead of the child, they are quite often contemporary for a season. No ascending children, their own or others, either on the material worlds or subsequently on the finality world or on Jerusalem. Fathers must pass through this essential experience just as certainly as mothers.
Now I understand every hum, every moan, every soulful cry.
That's how you gain balance.
It was guidance. It was you, Lord.
Yeah,
And I'll never let go.
there's something that children gain specifically from their mother
And lead me home.
and specifically from their father. It is an unfortunate and mistaken notion of modern peoples on earth that child culture is largely the task of mothers. Children need their fathers as well as mothers, and fathers need this parental experience as such do mothers.
Yeah. I don't think I understand this kind of love that you give. After all the hurt that I've got, after everything that I did, I put people through some hella back and committed way too many sins. I know hurt people just hurt people. That's exactly what I did. Yeah, but you came to my rescue when I needed you the most.
2.
I was broke down, crying out for help.
The probationary nursery.
I was searching for something more in life, but I was searching in false hope. Went through websites and beer bottles, which left me more on my own. Yeah, I used to blame you for every bad thing that happened. I used to cause pain on myself and frame you as a bad man. That's why it's hard to wrap my head around this grace. Feel so undeserving for love and don't know why you died in my place. Yeah, but I'm still here, messing up, and you're still here, loving me all the more. I see pictures with the pierced hands and the bruised eyes with the current thorns. Now
The infant receiving schools.
who you did it for. I live for you because you died for me. I might fight some battles, but you won the war. Yeah. Last rises without borders. Let me walk across the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Savior, Savior,
With much wisdom comes much sorrow. The infant receiving schools of Satania are situated on the finality world, the first of the Jerusalem transition cultural spheres. The infant receiving schools are enterprises devoted to the nature and training the children of time, including those who have died on the evolutionary worlds of space before the acquirement of individual status on the universe records. In the event of the survival of either or both of such child's parents, the guardian of destiny deputizes her associate cherubim as the custodian of the child's potential identity, charging the cherubim with the responsibility of delivering this undeveloped soul into the hands of the Mansion World teachers, and the probationary nurseries on the Mansion worlds. It is these same deserted cherubim who, as Mansion World teachers, under the supervision of the Melchizedeks, maintain such extensive educational facilities for the training of the probationary wards of the finalators. These wards of the finalators, these infants of ascending mortals, are always personalized as of their exact physical status at the time of death, except for reproductive potential. This awakening occurs at the exact time of the parental arrival, like I said, on the first Mansion world. And then these children, given every opportunity, as they are, to choose the heavenly way, just as they would have made such a choice on the worlds where it doth so untimely terminate their careers. They're going to pick up, if they're 50, if they were aborted as an infant and they were raised to 50, and you're going to meet them at their age that they would have been, and they're going to pick up from that point and ascend to the Mansion worlds just like you. The goodness of the Most High. Devil could never win. Lucifer could never win. On the nursery world, probationary creatures are grouped according to whether or not they have adjusters. When you get into the kingdom, right now we're speaking of the celestial kingdom. In this world, there's some beings, some people who have not fused with their adjusters. The celestials, most of them, if they're walking in holiness and righteousness, have fused with their adjusters already. For the adjusters come to indwell these material children just as in the worlds of time. Children of pre-adjuster ages are cared for in families of 5, ranging in age of 1 year up to approximately 5 years, or that age when the adjuster arrives. The adjuster is the adjuster is the Holy Spirit, because I remember the Holy Spirit talking to me up until I was 10. So they get the same opportunity in heaven, those that died before they reached that age of accountability. Let's see, where did we leave off here? Likewise, okay. The adjuster indwelt children and youth of the finality world are also reared in family. We did that. Families of ranging from age. Oh no, this is another one. Okay. The adjuster indwelt children and youth on the finality world are also reared in families of 5, ranging in age from 6 to 14. Approximately, these families consist of children whose ages are 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Anytime after 16, if final choice has been made, they translate to the first mansion world and begin their paradise ascent. Some make a choice before this age and go on to ascension spheres, but very few under the age of 16, as reckoned by Earth standards, will be found on the mansion worlds. The guardian seraphim attend these youths in the probationary nursery on the finality world, just as they spiritually minister to mortals on evolutionary planets, while the faithful sporanga minister to their physical necessities, and so do these children grow up on the transition world until such time as they make their final choice. When material life has run its course, if no choice has been made for the ascendant life, or if these children of time definitely decide against the Havana experience, death automatically terminates their probationary careers. There is no adjudication of such cases. There is no resurrection from such a second death. They simply become as though they had never been. Everything in the cosmos is by your choice. Nobody forces you. You have to walk in the way by your own volition. Let me go ahead and read and then I'll come back. Well, I might lose my thought, so let me tell you now. On the terrestrial and the celestial worlds, where some are just going to be a globe, a light, and then some are going to have no appendages. You're going to be expected to ascend. You're going to work. You're going to worship. You're going to be taught by the ministers of the Most High, the teacher, the Trinity teacher sons, and the Trinity teacher daughters. You're going to be taught by them. And they even have prison on those planets. And you're going to be given the opportunity again to ascend. You're not going to be able to sit back. Oh, I'm not going to work. I'm just going to read. No, it requires participation. But they're long suffering, and they're going to keep teaching you. They may have to move you up in a grade, put you back in a grade. They may have to put you in prison. But at some point, they're going to say, are you serious about this endowment? And if you're too weak and tired, they will do. It's your choice if you want to give up and be destroyed as if you had never been. Just like Lucifer. just like Satan at the Gog and Magog war. He's going to be destroyed as if he never existed. And his material that his body is made of is going to be transformed into another material and be made into the footstool of the Most High. It was always Lucifer's choice, Satan's choice, Caligastia's choice, Beelzebub's choice. But if they choose the paradise path of perfection, they are immediately made ready for translation to the first mansion world, where many of them arrive in time to join their parents in the Havana ascent. Again, those that had abortions, you're going to see your children again. After passing through Havana and attaining deities, these salvaged souls of mortal origin constitute the permanent ascendant citizenship of paradise. These children who have been deprived of the valuable essential evolutionary experience on the worlds of mortal negativity are not mustered into the cores of the finality. They're going to ascend, but they're not going to be mustered into the core of finality because they did not experience the crap we went through. And in reading and understanding this in the past 3 years, there's a pattern. I'm sure it covers it in here, but they go into another core. There's many different cores to serve the Father that you can ascend in, but they're just not going to ascend in the core of the finalators. Three. Come on, move out of the way. Let me see. The first mansion world. On the mansion worlds of resurrected mortal survivors, on the mansion worlds, the resurrected mortal survivors resume their lives just as they left off when overtaken by death. When you go from Earth to the first mansion world, you would notice considerable change. But if you had come from a more normal and progressive sphere of time, one where they didn't have to deal with the Lucifer rebellion, you would have hardly noticed a difference, except for the fact you are in possession of a different body. The tabernacle of flesh and blood has been left behind on the world of nativity. The very center of all activities on the first mansion world is the resurrection hall, the enormous temple of personality assembly. Let me stop there. I'll go ahead and read. Hopefully I don't lose my thought. This gigantic structure consists of the central rendezvous of the seraphic destiny guardians, the thought adjusters, and the archangels of the resurrection. The life carriers also function with these celestial beings in the resurrection of the dead. The mortal mind transcripts. Okay, let me stop there. Satan, he can give you a deteriorating fleshly body. What do they call those? I'll remember in a minute. But even those, he's trying to copy the Father. The, the kingdom has mastered this. Satan tries to duplicate it, but he can't. It'll come. The mortal mind scripts. Your mortal mind, the transcripts, things that have been recorded, and the active preacher memory patterns as transformed from the material levels to the spiritual are the individual possession of the detached thought adjusters. These spiritualized factors of mind, memory, creature personality are forever a part of such adjusters. The creature mind matrix and the passive potentials of identity are present on the Morantia soul entrusted to the keeping of the seraphic destiny guardians. And it is the reuniting of the Morantia soul trust of the seraphim and the spirit mind trust of the adjuster that reassembles creature personality and constitutes resurrection of a sleeping survivor. There, I didn't have to explain it. Can't do any better than that. Your memory and everything is put back into this new Morantia body. Excuse me. If a transitory personality of mortal origin should never be thus reassembled, the spirit elements of the non-surviving mortal creature would forever continue as an integral part of the individual experiential endowment of the one-time indwelling adjuster. These indwelling adjusters, they learn just as we learn. That they are an order of beings, and that is what their job is. To collect everything from the temple of the new life. You've now been resurrected in your Morantia body. From the temple of new life, there extend 7 radial wings, the resurrection halls of the mortal races. Each of these structures is devoted to the assembly of one of the 7 races of time. There are 100,000 personal resurrection chambers in each of these 7 wings, terminating in the circular class assembly halls, which serve as awakening chambers for as many as 1 million individuals. These halls are surrounded by the personality assembly chambers of the blended races of the normal post-Adamic worlds, regardless of the technique which may be employed on the individual worlds of time in connection with the special or dispensational resurrection. The real and conscious reassembly of actual and complete personality takes place in the resurrection halls on Mansonia. Number one, Mansion World number one. Through all eternity, you will recall the profound memory impressions of your first witnessing of these resurrection mornings. From the resurrection halls, you proceed to the Melchizedek sector, where you are assigned permanent residence. Then you enter upon 10 days of liberty, where you are free to explore the immediate vicinity of your new home and to familiarize yourself with the program which lies immediately ahead. You have time to gratify your desire, to consult the registry, to call upon your loved ones and other earth friends who may have preceded you to these worlds. At the end of your 10-day period of leisure, second step, you begin the second step in the paradise journey. For the mansion worlds are actual training spheres, not merely detention planets. On mansion world number one, or another in case of advanced status and spiritual development at the exact level whereon they were interrupted by death. Between the time of planetary death or translation and resurrection on the mansion world, mortal man gains absolutely nothing aside from experiencing the fact of survival. You begin over there, right where you left off down here. So if you don't know anything about the fullness of the gospel and how to walk in it, those are the ones that get resurrected and go to the training spheres. Almost the entire experience of the mansion world number one pertains to deficiency ministry. Survivors arriving on this first of the detention spheres represent so many and such varied defects of creature character and deficiencies of mortal experience that the major activities of the realm are occupied with the correction and cure of these manifold legacies of the life in the flesh on the material evolutionary worlds of space and time. The sojourn on Mansion World number one is designed to develop mortal survivors, at least up to the status of the post-Adamic dispensation on the normal evolutionary worlds. Spiritually, of course, the Mansion World students are far advanced of such state of mere human development. If you are not to be detained on the Mansion World number one, at the end of 10 days, you will enter the translation sleep and proceed to world number two. And every 10 days thereafter, you will thus advance until you arrive at the world of your assignment. The center of the seven major circles of the first mansion world administration is occupied by the temple of the Marantia companions. That's another core. The personal guides assigned to ascending mortals. These companions are the offspring of the local universe mother spirit, and there are several million of them on the Marantia worlds of Satania. Aside from these assignments as group companions, you will have much to do with the interpreters and translators, the building custodians, the building custodians. They have buildings, and the excursion supervisors, guides. This is an excursion. When you come out, you're going to be shown around, and they're describing beings that are going to help you. You're going to be seeing different worlds. You might see what's going on in your rancher world. They'll take you over there. You're going to be shown around the kingdom to the extent that you can understand. And all these companions are most cooperative with those who have to do with developing your personality factors of mind and spirit within the Marantia body. As you start out on the first Mantra world, one Marantia companion is assigned to each company of 1,000 ascending mortals. One Marantia companion is assigned to each company of 1,000 ascending mortals as a guide. But you are through the 7 mansion spheres. These beautiful and versatile beings are companionable associates and charming guides. They are free to accompany individuals or select groups to any of the transition cultural spheres, including their satellite worlds. So they can show you their satellite worlds, and they can accompany groups or individuals. They are the excursion guides and leisure associates of all ascending mortals. They are your friends, your leisure associates. They often accompany survivor groups on periodic visits to Jerusalem, heavenly Jerusalem. And on any day you are there, you can go to the registry sector of the system capital and meet ascending mortals from all 7 of the mansion worlds, since they freely journey back and forth between their residential abodes and the system headquarters. So you can meet other beings from other worlds who have ascended, who have been resurrected, and they're in this group. You're going to be with beings from all other worlds that have resurrected during the time you resurrected. 4, the second mansion world. It is this sphere that you are morally fully inducted into the Mansonia life. The groupings of the Marantia life begin to take form. Working groups, social organizations start to function. Communities take on formal proportions. And the advancing mortals inaugurate new social orders and governmental arrangements. Spirit-fused survivors occupy the mansion worlds in common with the adjuster-fused ascending mortals. While the various orders of celestial life differ, they are all friendly and fraternal. In all the worlds of ascension, you will find nothing comparable to human intolerance. In all the worlds of ascension, you will find nothing comparable to human intolerance and discriminations of inconsiderate caste systems. Like when I used to work for the state police, I would always talk to people. And I stopped in a toll booth and I used to talk to this one Indian guy. And I've been friends. He and his family, they owned a Dunkin' Donuts. He worked on the turnpike. And I would talk to him. And I asked him, I said, I've heard of the caste system. Can you explain it to me? And he put his head down. And I knew that I inadvertently touched a, let me put a tab here so I won't forget where I am. Okay. All right. I knew that I had touched a nerve, but because we were friends, he started to explain to me. I'd read and I knew some. It used to always blow my mind. And remember, I'm older than a lot of you. I remember when everybody in India was just basically the only people who were white looking were the people at the very top, the Brahmins, who would use what the Melchizedek taught them. And it says in the Urantia that they corrupted what Christ gave them more than any other religion. But anyway, see, where's my thought? Caste system. And he explained to me about the caste system, that the untouchables, you were born into that caste, and the untouchables are Israelites, by the way. That you're born into that caste and you can never move up from the caste. You can only supposedly have children until they outlawed it, supposedly, but they still, in their spirit, the people at the top still treat the lower caste. But as you ascend the mansion worlds one by one, most of the ones that come from India, most of them are the poor ones. Because the filthy rich ones, they have no reason to come here because they're filthy rich. And then some of the ones that come here, the poor ones, they get lifted up as if they are somebody when they were looked down from the ones, and then they look down on people once they get here. It's just funny, but that's human nature. Here we go. As you ascend the mansion worlds one by one, they become more crowded with Morantia activities of advancing survivors. As you go forward, you will recognize more and more of the Jerusalem features added to the mansion worlds. The Sea of Glass makes its appearance on the second Mansonia. The newly developed and suitably adjusted Morantia body is acquired at the time of each advance from one mansion world to another. You go to sleep with the seraphic transport and awaken with a new but underdeveloped body in the resurrection halls, which much as you first arrived on the mansion world, number one, except that the thought adjuster does not leave you during these transition sleeps between mansion worlds. Your personality remains intact after you once passed from one evolutionary world to the. Your adjuster memory remains fully as you ascend the Morantia life. Associates that were purely animalistic and wholly material naturally perished with the physical brain. But everything in your mental life, which was worthwhile and which had survival value, was counterparted by the adjuster and is retained as a part of your personal memory all the way through the ascendant career. You will be conscious of all your worthwhile experiences as you advance from one mansion world to another and from one section of the universe to another, even paradise. So, if you obtained a PhD down here, you're not taking that up there. If you were a doctor down here, a lawyer, you got to taste death, and you're not going to be a doctor or a lawyer up there. You're not going to remember anything that Satan, by way of Nimrod, taught you because you thought you obtained intelligence when you were taught lies. But you could remember lies easily. You never thought, is this a lie? Though you have Morantia bodies, you continue through all 7 of these worlds to eat, drink, and rest. And you partake of the Morantia food, a kingdom of living energy unknown on the material worlds. Both food and water are fully utilized in the Morantia body. There is no residual waste. You don't have a bowel movement. Pause to consider. Mansonia number 1 Pause to consider. Mansonia number 1 is a very material sphere, presenting the early beginnings of the Morantia regime. Presenting the early beginnings of the Morantia regime. You are still near human and not far removed from the limited viewpoints of mortal life. But each world discloses definite progress. From spheres to sphere, you grow less material, more intellectual, and slightly more spiritual. The spiritual progress is greatest on the last 3 of these 7 progressive worlds. Biological deficiencies were largely made up on the first mansion world. These defects in planetary experiences pertain to sex life. Biological deficiencies are largely made up on the mansion world. These deficiencies in planetary experiences pertaining to sex life, family association, and parental function are either corrected or were projected for future rectification among the material sun families on Jerusalem. We learn in the Book of the Seven Seals, if you, I don't want to offend anybody, retarded down here, that you already a perfected being up there, and that retardation is going to be corrected in the first mansion world. They've already proven themselves. They're celestial. They were sent back down to Earth to see how the smart people would treat them. When I was in Bluffton, South Carolina, on my route, in one of my Walmarts, they hire mentally challenged people. And there was this young Gentile guy there. I can't remember his name. I guess he might have been, I'm going to say he was between 30 and 40. And then when I learned this, because some of the dumb workers would bother him, tease him. And he would be frustrated, but he knew they were teasing him. So one day I said to him, I'm trying to think how I explained it to him. I don't know if I said I just learned, because I kind of developed a relationship with him. He'd be in the back room, and whatever chores they gave him or errands they gave him, he went anyway. So I said to him, I said, "You're celestial. You've already proven yourself in heaven." Man, he lit up and started jumping and smiling. Because he remembered this. But he can't tell you. He can't explain it to you. They can't explain it to you. Mansonian number 2 more specifically provides for the removal of all phases of intellectual conflict and for the cure of all varieties of mental disharmony. That's any mental deficiency is going to be corrected. The effort to master the significance of Marancha Mota, begun on the first mansion world, is more earnestly continued. The development of Mansonia number 2, mansion world number 2, compares with the intellectual status of the ideal evolutionary worlds. 5, the third mansion world. The third is the headquarters of the mansion world. Teachers. The third is the headquarters of the mansion world teachers. Though they function on all 7 of the mansion spheres, they maintain their group headquarters at the center of the school circles of the world number 3. There are millions of these instructors on the mansion and higher Marantian worlds. There are millions of these instructors on the mansion and higher Marantian worlds. These advanced and glorified cherubim serve as Marantia teachers, all the way up from the mansion worlds to the last spheres of the local universe ascended training. They will be among the last to bid you an affectionate adieu. When the farewell time draws near, the time when you bid goodbye, at least for a few ages, to the universe of your origin. When you in Seraphim for transit to the receiving worlds of the minor sector of the super universe. When sojourning on the first mansion world, you have permission to visit the first of the transition worlds, the headquarters of the finaliters, and the system probationary nursery for the nurture of undeveloped evolutionary children. When you arrive on Mansonia number 2, you receive permission periodically to visit transition world number 2, where are located the Marantia supervisor headquarters for all Satania, the training schools for the various Marantia orders. Again, there's many orders of beings. There's a job for everybody. Everybody has a job. Everybody has a specific job. Everybody knows what their job covers. They don't reach past their station. When you reach mansion world number 3, you are immediately granted a permit to visit the third transition sphere, the headquarters of the angelic orders, and the home of their various system training schools. Visits to Jerusalem from this world are increasingly profitable and are ever heightening interest to the advancing mortals, because you've never seen this before. You can't imagine what God has for you, the creator of all. You're just enthusiastic. You want to learn. Mansonia, The third is the world of great personal and social achievement for all who have not made the equivalent of these circles Mansonia, the third, is the world of great personal and social achievement for all who have not made the equivalent of these circles of culture prior to release from the flesh on the mortal nativity worlds. On this sphere, more positive educational work is begun. The training of the first two mansion worlds is mostly of a deficiency nature. Negative in that it has to do with supplementing the experience of the life in the flesh. That's pretty clear. On this third mansion world, the supervisors really begin their progressive Morantia culture. Again, they're going to tell you you're deficient in this, you're deficient in that, and you gain it through the training. This third mansion world, the survivors really begin their progressive Morantia culture. The chief purpose of this training is to enhance the understanding of the correlation of the Morantia Mota. The chief purpose of this training is to enhance the understanding of the correlation of Morantia Mota and mortal logic. The coordination of Morantia Mota and human philosophy. The coordination of Morantia Mota and human philosophy. They explain what Morantia motive is through your understanding of human philosophy. Morantia Mota is, well, it's just that. Morantia philosophy. Surviving mortals now gain practical insight into metaphysics, true metaphysics. This is the real introduction to the intellectual comprehension of cosmic meanings and universe relationship. The culture of the third mansion world partakes of the nature of the post-bestowal sun age of a normal inhabited planet. A normal inhabited planet, that's what they've learned at the end of their cycle. They know this already. And remember that brother, Dr. Delbert, what's his name? Dr. Delbert. I can't remember his name. But he hit on the cosmic law, cosmic meanings, cosmic interrelationship. His name is not coming to me. Delbert Blair. Dr. Delbert Blair. 6, the fourth mansion world. You go back if you want to look on some of his videos. He knew this was coming. When you arrive on the fourth mansion world, you have well entered into the Morantia career. You have progressed a long way from the initial material existence. Now you are given permission to make visits to the transition world number 4. There to become familiar with the headquarters and training schools of the super angels, including the brilliant evening stars, the Melchizedeks. That's the brilliant evening stars, or another order. through the good offices of these super angels of the forced transition world of Morantia, visitors are enabled to draw very including the brilliant evening stars. Through the good offices of these super angels of the fourth transition world, the Morantia visitors are enabled to draw very close to the various orders of the sonships of God during the periodic visits of Urantia, the very visits to Jerusalem, heavenly Jerusalem. You start to be introduced to the different orders of sonships to decide which way you further want to walk, to ascend. It's all your choice. And it's also, well, it should bring it up. Let me read it again. It's a long sentence, so I got to start from the beginning. Through the good offices of these super angels of the fourth transition world, the Morantia visitors are enabled to draw very close to the various orders of the sons of God during the periodic visits to Jerusalem. For new sectors of the system capital are gradually opening up to the advancing mortals as they make these repeated visits to the headquarters world. New grandeurs are progressively unfolding to the expanding minds of these ascenders. On the fourth Mansonia, the individual ascender more fittingly finds his place in the group, working, and class functions of the Morantia life. Ascenders are developed, increased, appreciated. Ascenders here developed, working, and class functions of the Morantia life. Ascenders here developed increased appreciation of the broadcast and other phases of local universe culture and progress. They broadcast what's going on in the other local universes, like Truman, but a lot more informative and intense. They're watching us. It is during the period of training on world number 4 that the ascending mortals are really first introduced to the demands and delights of the true social life of Morantia creatures. We're still creatures. To participate in social activities which are predicated neither on personal aggrandizement nor of self-seeking conquest. A new social order is being introduced, one based on understanding, sympathy of mutual appreciation, the unselfish love of mutual service, and the overmastering motivation of the realization of a common supreme deity. You fall in line. You just want to please the Father. The paradise goal of worshipful and divine perfection. ascenders are all becoming self-conscious of God knowing, God revealing, God seeking, and God finding. The intellectual and social culture of this fourth mansion world is comparable to the mental and social life of the post-teacher son age on the planets of normal evolution, which we are not of. The spiritual status is such in advance of such mortal dispensation. The reason he saved the best for last, we went through this crap as a result of the Lucifer rebellion, but the others, they didn't obtain this level by experiential learning. Let me see if I can find another. Yeah. Let me see. I'll hit some of these. Seven. That right? The fifth mansion world. Transport to the fifth mansion world represents a tremendous upward step in the life of a Morantia progressor. The experience on this world is a real foretaste of Jerusalem life. You begin to realize that the high destiny of the loyal evolutionary worlds, since they may normally progress to this stage during their natural planetary development. The culture of this mansion world corresponds in general to that of the early era of light and life on the planets of normal evolutionary progress. And from this, you can understand why it is so arranged that the highly cultured and progressive types of beings who sometimes inhabited these advanced evolutionary worlds are exempt from passing through one or more or even all of the mansion worlds. Okay. Having mastered the local universe language before leaving the fourth world, you now devote more time to the perfection of the tongue of Uversa, to the end that you may be proficient in both languages before arriving on Jerusalem with residential status. Now and again, all right. As you move up spiritually and your eyes become more spiritual, you see beings that you didn't see when you were at a lower level, and you speak a different language at some level. They speak different languages. Sometimes you can see them, sometimes you can't, depending on where your level is. You may understand what they are talking about, and you may not, depending on where level you are. But they'll allow you to visit a world, and they speak to you in your tongue that you can understand, and you're allowed to see them. All right. All ascending mortals are bilingual. From the system headquarters, well, already is, up to Havana. And then it is only necessary to enlarge, the super universe vocabulary. Still additional enlargement being required for residents on Paradise. Upon arrival on Mansonia number 5, the pilgrim is given permission to visit the transition world of corresponding number. So you're in this training world, and then you go to the transition world. You're training on mansion world number 1. Now you're you're visiting the world number 5, and now you're going to go to the resident world where they live. It's universities, schools. Ever learning, ever ascending up Jacob's ladder. Okay. All ascending mortals, we did that. Upon arrival on the Mansonia, did I? Yeah. Upon arrival on Mansonia number 5, the pilgrim is given permission to visit the Did we hit that? Okay, yeah. Upon arrival on the Mansonia number 5, the pilgrim is given permission to visit the transition world of corresponding number, the sun's headquarters. Here, the ascendant mortal becomes more personally familiar with the various groups of divine sonship. The Michaels, the Melchizedeks, blip, 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 and on and on. He has heard of these supreme beings and has already met them on Jerusalem. But now he comes really to know them. On the 5th Mansonia, you begin to learn of the constellation study worlds. Here you meet the first of the instructors who begin to prepare you for the subsequent constellation sojourn. Most of this preparation continues on world 6 and 7, while the finishing touches are supplied in the sector of the ascending mortals on Jerusalem. The real birth of cosmic consciousness takes place on mansion number 5. You are becoming universe-minded. This is indeed a time of expanding horizons. It is beginning to draw upon the enlarging minds of the ascending mortals that some stupendous and magnificent, some supernal and divine destiny awaits all who complete the progressive paradise ascension, which has been so laboriously but so joyfully and auspiciously begun. About this point, the average mortal ascender begins to manifest bona fide experiential enthusiasm for the Havana ascent. Study is becoming voluntary and unselfish, service natural. Study is becoming voluntary, unselfish, service natural, and worship spontaneous. Because you have arrived. A real Marancha character is building. A real Marancha creature is evolving. You're becoming holy. The 6th mansion world. Sojourners of this sphere are permitted to visit transition world number 6, where they learn more about the high spirits of the super universe. Although they are not able to visualize many of these celestial beings, here they also receive their first lesson in the prospective spiritual career, which so immediately follows graduation from the Marancha training of the local universe. The assistant system sovereign makes frequent visits to this world, and the system sovereign is at this point Emmanuel. The first lessons embracing catching a cramp. The first lessons embracing the affairs of the whole universe are now imparted. The first lessons embracing the affairs of the whole universe are now imparted. This is a brilliant age for ascending mortals, and usually witnesses the perfect fusion of the human mind and the divine adjuster. In potential, this fusion may have occurred previously, but the actual working identity many times, is not achieved until the time of the sojourn on the fifth mansion world, or even sixth. The union of the evolving mortal soul with the eternal and divine adjuster is signalized by the seraphic summoning of the supervising super angel for resurrected survivors and of the archangel of record for those going to judgment on the third day. And then, in the presence of such a survivor's Morantia associates, let me reread that. The union of the involving mortal soul with the eternal and divine adjuster is signalized by, okay, they're going to signal it, by the seraphic summoning, okay, and the supervising super angel for resurrected survivors and of the archangel of record. They're going to let them know that you have achieved this. For those going to judgment on the third day, and then the presence of such a survivor's Morantia associates, these messengers of confirmation speak. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. This simple ceremony marks the entrance of the ascendant mortal upon the eternal career of paradise service. Immediately upon the confirmation of adjuster fusion, the new Morantia being is introduced to his fellows for the first time. Oh, okay, I'm getting a better understanding. All right. All right. But still, these brilliant beings, more or less material, they are far. Did I skip anything? Yeah. Immediately upon the confirmation of adjuster fusion, the new Morantia being is introduced to his fellows for the first time by his new name and is granted 40 days of spiritual retirement from all routine activities, wherein to continue with himself and to choose one of the optional routes to Havana, and to select from the differential techniques of paradise attainment. You can choose the school you want to go to. But still, these are brilliant beings, more or less material. They are far from being true spirits. They are more like supermortals, spiritually speaking, still a little lower than angels, but they are truly becoming marvelous creatures. During the sojourn on world number 6, the mansion world students achieve a status which is comparable with the exalted development characterizing those evolutionary worlds which have normally progressed upon the initial stage of light and life. We're on par with them that have not have to have dealt with the Lucifer rebellion in their world. They obtained it through schooling, through learning. The organization of society on this Mansonia is of a high order. The shadow of the mortal nature grows less. We remember that shadow, the monad. As you ascend, things are removed from you. The shadow of the mortal nature grows less and less as these worlds are ascended one by one. You are becoming more and more adorable as you leave behind the coarse vestiges of planetary animal origin. Coming up through great tribulation serves to make glorified mortals very kind and very understanding and very sympathetic and tolerant. 9. The seventh mansion world. The experience on this sphere is the crowning achievement of the immediate post-mortal career. During your sojourn here, you will receive the instruction of many teachers, all of whom will cooperate in the task of preparing you for residence on Jerusalem. Any discernible differences between those mortals hailing from the isolated and retarded worlds. We're from an isolated and retarded world. Any discernible differences between those mortals hailing from isolated and retarded worlds and those survivors from more advanced and enlightened spheres are obliterated during the sojourn on the seventh mansion world. Here you will be purged of all remnants of unfortunate heredity, unwholesome environment, and unspiritual planetary tendencies. The last remnants of the mark of the beast are here eradicated. Money, materialism. While sojourning on Mansonia number 7, permission is granted to visit transition world number 7, the world of the universal Father. Here you begin a new and more spiritual worship of the unseen Father, a habit you will increasingly pursue all the way up through your long ascending career. You find the Father's temple on his world of transitional culture, but you do not see the Father. Now beginnings the formation of classes for graduation from Jerusalem. You have gone from world to world as individuals, but now you prepare to depart for Jerusalem in groups, although within certain limits. An ascender may elect to tarry on the seventh mansion world for the purpose of enabling a tardy member of his earthly or Mansonia work to catch up to him. That's your option. If your wife is behind you, you can wait for her to catch up. or whoever you want to wait for. The goodness of the Father. The personal, the personnel of the seventh Mansonia assemble on the Sea of Glass to witness your departure for Jerusalem with residential status. Hundreds or thousands of times you may have visited Jerusalem, but always as a guest. Never before have you proceeded towards the system capital in the company of a group of your fellows who are bidding an eternal farewell to the whole Mansonia career. Soon be welcome on the receiving field of the headquarters world as Jerusalem citizens. You will greatly enjoy your progress through the seven dematerializing worlds. Those seven mansion worlds, they were seven dematerializing worlds. Now you're about to become a spirit, a full-fledged spirit. They are really demortalizing spheres. You are mostly human on the first mansion world, just a mortal being minus a material body, a human mind housed in a Marantia form, a material body of Marantia, of the Marantia world, but not a mortal house of flesh and blood. You really pass from the mortal state to the immortal status at the time of the adjuster fusion. And by the time you have finished the Jerusalem career, you are full-fledged. 10. Jerusalem citizenship. The reception of a new class of Mansion World graduates is a signal for all Jerusalem to assemble as a committee of welcome. Even the Sparanja enjoyed the arrival of these triumph ascenders of the evolutionary origin. Those who have run the planetary race and finished the Mansion World progression. Only the physical controllers and Marantia power supervisors are absent from these occasions of rejoicing. John the Revelator saw a vision of the arrival of a class of advancing mortals from the seven mansion worlds to their first heaven, the glories of Jerusalem. He recorded, holiness to the Most High. He recorded, and I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and those who had gained the victory over the beast that was originally in them, materialism, and over the image that persisted through the mansion worlds. And finally, the last mark and trace standing on the sea of glass, having the harps of God and singing a song of deliverance from mortal fear and death, perfected space and communication, is to be had on all these worlds. And your anywhere reception of such communication is made possible by carrying the harp of God. A Marantia contrivance compensating for the inability to directly adjust the immature advanced Morantia sensory mechanism to the receptor-based communication. That harp of God is your way of communication after you graduate. Paul also had a view of the ascendant citizenship core of perfecting mortals on Jerusalem. For he wrote, "But you have come to Mount Zion and the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to an innumerable company of angels, to the grand assembly of Michael and the spirits of just men being made perfect." Glory to the Most High. After mortals have obtained residence on the system headquarters, no more no more literal resurrections will be experienced. The Morantia form granted you on departure from the mantra world career is such as will you see through the end of your local universe experience. Changes will be made from time to time, but you will retain this same form until you bid farewell when you emerge at the first stage spirits preparatory for the transit to the super universe worlds of ascending culture and spirit training. 7 times do these mortals pass through the entire Morantia career experience: the adjustment sleep and the resurrection awakening. But the last resurrection hall, the final awakening chamber, was left behind on the 7th mantra world. No more will a form change necessitate the lapse of consciousness or a break in the continuity of personal memory. The mortal personality initiated on the evolutionary worlds and the tabernacle of flesh, indwelt by the memory monitors and invested by the spirit of truth, is not fully mobilized, realized, and unified until the day when such a Jerusalem citizen is given clearance for Edentia, heavenly Eden, and proclaimed a true member of the Morantia cores of Nebadon, and an immortal survivor of Adjuster Association, a Paradise Ascender, a personality of Morantia status, and a true child of the Most Highs. Mortal death is a technique of escape from the material life in the flesh and the Morantia experience of progressive life through 7 worlds of corrective training to the Morantia career. The transition life, which intervenes between evolutionary material existence and the higher spiritual attainment of ascenders of time who are destined to achieve the portals of eternity. Sponsored by a brilliant evening star. I'm Melchizedek. And I'm going to end there. And I'll pick up tomorrow morning, Most High willing. Shalom, family. Oh, hold on. Sister Doreen, I put that pump in, but we got to get it adjusted. So we're going to adjust it first thing in the morning. Shalom.